first glance, the work appears almost aggressively simple. A single turquoise square suspended in a vast field of muted gray-violet atmosphere. And yet it is precisely this apparent simplicity that gives the piece its charge. It does not ask to be decoded immediately. It does not perform complexity in the obvious manner. Instead, it waits. It holds the room. It insists that the viewer come toward it. The square is not merely a shape. It is an event. Placed just below the visual center, it interrupts the surface with a quiet but undeniable authority. Its color, looming as synthetic, almost digital, feels foreign against the surrounding field, as though it has arrived from another system of value entirely. The background is soft, worn, almost atmospheric. It carries the texture of silence, dust, institutional walls, forgotten storage rooms, the neutral spaces in which culture is prepared before it is revealed. Against this, the turquoise square becomes a proposition. Small, concentrated, absurdly confident. The genius of the work lies in its refusal to offer spectacle while fully understanding the economy of spectacle. It gives us almost nothing. And in doing so reveals how much we are willing to project. The viewer is forced to confront not only the object, but the conditions under which an object becomes important. Why does this square matter? Because it is centered, because it is isolated, because it is presented, because someone has asked us to look. And once we begin looking, the painting changes. The surrounding emptiness becomes theatrical. The square becomes a stage, a portal, a price tag, a signature, a wound, a logo, a promise. Its modest scale is deceptive. It functions less as an image than as a trigger. It activates the space around it. It makes the blankness meaningful. It transforms absence into aura. There is a remarkable tension here between sincerity and construction. A painting knows the language of modernism, minimizes, post-modernizes conceptual art and market abstraction. But it does not merely imitate them. It compresses them into a single gesture so reduced that it becomes almost comic, almost sacred, that almost is crucial. The work never collapses into joke or reverence. It stays suspended between them. This is where the piece feels so contemporary. It is not simply a painting of a square. It is a painting about the manufacture of attention. It understands that value today is not born only from material craft or beauty, but from circulation, from conversation, framing, repetition, proximity, endorsement. The turquoise square is the artwork, yes, but it is also the rumor of the artwork, the caption beneath it, the collector's whisper, the curator's paragraph, the photograph of the wall, the invitation email, the private dinner after the opening. In this sense, the painting is devastatingly honest. It presents the smallest possible visual claim and surrounds it with enough emptiness to expose the machinery of importance. The viewer may laugh, but the laugh quickly turns back on itself. For what is the difference between emptiness and restraint, between accident and gesture, between decoration and significance, between a square and an icon? The work does not answer these questions. It profits from them. That is its brilliance. The turquoise form becomes a kind of contemporary relic, meaningless until consecrated, priceless, once believed in its power is not in what it depicts, but in how confidently it occupies the conditions of being seen. It is a painting that understands understands that the frame around art is now larger than the canvas itself. The frame includes language, status, social access, institutional desire, and the strange collective agreement that something has become important. And so, the work succeeds not despite its emptiness, but because of it. It offers a perfect surface for projection. It becomes a mirror for the art world's deepest rituals: selection, elevation, interpretation, investment. It is both object and trap, both painting and performance, both image and critique of the image's promotion. One could say that the turquoise square represents how purity, digital alienation, spiritual concentration, or the last surviving fragment of color in a world of exhausted neutrality. All of these readings are available, but the most compelling reading is also the most uncomfortable. The square represents the moment at which attention becomes value. It is small because it does not need to be large. It is simple because the system around it will do the work. It is silent because others will speak for it. And perhaps that is why this image lingers, not because it overwhelmed the eye, but because it exposes the eye's dependence on permission. It asks with almost brutal elegance, what must surround a thing before we agree to call it extraordinary? This painting is not merely an image. It is a demonstration.